Welcome to the Hampshire 1900 start for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, and we're picking up on the 28th of September 1921, which is only a few months on from the end of the last part, which is a lot less than I originally intended. Now, the reason for that is simply down to the fact that I've got a couple of things I need to do in order to get things underway. The first problem we've got is actually up here, and that is that I'm not really getting the levels of quarried stone over to here that I was hoping for. And I've got two kind of options at the moment. That is to buy another couple of these steam haulers and get them running backwards and forwards, but you can see at the moment I don't think they're really going to gain because we've only got these two unloading slots. And you can see, I mean, we could give it a go. I think I will, because the other option is a little bit more long term. So we're going to buy a couple of dumpers. Max capacity. I'm going to get two more of those. Now the other slightly more longer term option is to put another quarry up here, which I think I will do. And this has always been the downside. This is the reason why if I come here, the preferred option is always this one, but we're not going to get it for quite a long time. So there's 100% there. Okay, we're going to go there. Oops, I'm going to put 100% quarry there. Can we get off of it? Yeah, great. And we're just going to get that there, let the guys pick it up. Then we'll get through. We'll get one of the trucks that we get here. We'll reallocate back to here. This is the downside of here. I mean, an alternative is that, although I've kind of boxed myself in a little bit here, is that we could try and get a kind of a another. See, there's only one. There's only the other one there. We could do a connection to there, but I think this is going to be enough for the job. It's just we just need to try and get a bit more reliable source of gravel. The reason I'm kind of fixating a little bit on it is the fact that we do need to start kind of working on traveling down into Southampton like that. That's all one road, because I do want to expand down to Southampton, because we're on 1921, so we're now getting close to the point where we're actually going to get things done. While we're here, I'll just give you a quick update with my track laying. It's chugging along very slowly. Part of the reason for that is the fact that we can find, oh, there's a track layer there, just there. So the track layer is doing a grand job, but of course it's not exactly the fastest thing in the end. And I've been thinking a little bit about it, and the fact that if we go to research, and I know I've mentioned this before, but I just want to reiterate this. We got 1928. That means we got 7 years. So I think what we're probably going to do is do some upgrading on this line before we get a full-blown train system going. It depends on how quickly this gets laid down. So that's the first thing I want to deal with. Now the second one is a little bit more involved. That is the fact that our prison is filling up. I do want to increase that because our average is, I don't know, I think maybe education is higher. So this is now filling up. Now there's two solutions. One's a short term and one's a long term. Now if I click on the prison population, I know that you probably can't see it very well, but if I pause and run through, what you'll see is that We got criminals down the bottom here who are got relatively high crime rates. But if I run along here, oops, we got somebody with 30% crime there. But one option that you can do, and you need to use this very carefully, is that you can actually reduce the actual kind of how long they're actually in prison. But don't do it dramatically, because what's very important with the crime system is that the people who leave prison have zero criminality. And we got a couple of fairly hefty crooks in here. So that's the first one. And of course, the longer one, which is what we've got to also build, is we need another prison. Now, what I want to do is build the prison over here. The reason is that long term, you don't want to put multiple prisons in one town. The reason for that is that prisoners who escape, tend to go to the nearest town if there's vacancies. And the problem is that if you get lots of prisons in one town, you can get a kind of concentration of criminality. So what I want to do, I think we built that there. I just want to see if there's any unemployment here, or if not, we can always manufacture a little bit. Yeah, we got some unemployment in this area. But then we got the bus stop here as well. But I said we can actually manufacture a little bit of unemployment here. Really would like to fix this road here. Let me just see, can I do it? Can we get... No. I think, can I get a road through here? Yes, like that went green. Yeah, I want a mud road actually, sorry. This is a temporary road. I want to build a gravel road there. Make it high priority. Get these guys on it. Because that's just been annoying me a little bit. We can do something like that. Just to make sure that the workforce can get in. Probably what we'll do eventually is asphalt this one as well. Now, so we're going to need to put another prison in. I'm going to build another small prison because simply it doesn't feel necessary to kind of build a really large prison in here. So we're going to put this historic prison in because this is only marginally smaller than this one, which is really big. I mean, it'd be nice to put this in, but the problem is that if I put this, I don't know if I put this here, it doesn't really reach the number of dwellings that I would like. Plus, it gets into the way of those power distributions. So I think this is going to be the better solution. It's got everything it needs. You also got to remember is we got to deliver food and stuff to it. So we're going to come there. And we're going to get these guys on it. And also put you on it as well. And just build that prison up. We got a footpath going there as well. So just let the game run. Up here, things are still grinding away very, very slowly at the moment. We do have, this needs to be quarried stone. We don't have power up here at the moment. And based on our experience in the other places, we're probably going to need, actually I'm going to need a gas station up here as well. We got that. That's a through, probably actually can put a through gas station here. Something Now that runs that way, doesn't it? So that doesn't really work. Ideally, no. We'll put a gas station about there, because the vehicles going to and from the quarry will need to get fuel. Got that. It's always in the details with this game. When you miss out on a detail, you can cause yourself a bit of a problem here. We've got a new vehicle type. I've checked that one out. I'm just going to clear all the messages again. So we've got a gas station here. As I say, we're building this area up. Once we got the power line built into here, we've got to lay out the power. And we've got, and then the problem we're going to have is the workforce, which returns back to our town here. Now we are getting over 21s, and at the moment I want the over 21s to kind of build up a little bit, simply because we're going to need to move a reasonable amount of population in, although we have got 700,000. Those that's vehicles that I brought in. So we've got this area here. This area here is still being built. Again, it's this kind of queue in the distance that's having an impact. I am thinking, so there's not much point building a construction office out here at the moment. I could plan one, I suppose. Where would I put a construction office? One thing I do need is a bus stop to drop off the workforce. Haven't done that either. Kind of thinking, got an aggregate store there, we got the gravel processing there, we got that there, got a small panel factory over here. Can I get, I think I've messed this up a little bit, haven't I? Can I get a, that'd be great if I could get you under there. I can get you under there. Get you, put you, cancel that. I don't want, but not unless I have to. Bring you down about there. Now, ideally what we need is a bus stop drop-off point here that will reach, well, that factory we can do, that's, we can put you in about there. Put a drop-off point there. That will get to there, and we can put an asphalt connection to there. Got a small cement plant here. I think what we got here, we got an asphalt plant. What we could do is change this and run you to there like that. Okay, I'm building the wrong one. All that. Yeah, that gets the range into there. That means we can get workers to all the different, so we got workers to the gravel processing, the asphalt plant, the concrete plant, that storage, the small cement plant, and the panel factory over here. Not that happy with this road connection, but at the same time I don't really want to squeeze that small cement plant. because of course at the moment we don't have any. All we've got at the moment is gravel delivery, but the cement plant will need coal. So eventually we may have to bring in a conveyor belt here, which comes in there. So I won't put a road in here just at the moment. We may put a road in later on. I will plan a road up to here, there, because we're going to need that. In fact, I think we're just put those in as well, because that will connect up to this area here where we got our iron mine. So there's a very real possibility that sometime in the future we may actually put a our steel production. I don't know why I keep saying iron. So that still needs to be built in like that. The other thing we're going to need here is a fire station. We're going to have to put the fire station in as well. We're going to go with a residential type fire station. I think maybe kind of giving it a two-way road here would make a little bit of difference with the coverage. So we can drop you in there. And that fire station should cover this area here. It'll also provide extra support to the farm. So we've got this area going now. Right, so the next place we're going to visit is Milford-on-Sea. Here I've kind of made a start on building this area up here. We've got a historic hospital here. We've got the Milford-on-Sea market. Now the distance from there to here is quite big, so we're going to need a warehouse here, otherwise we're just not going to get through the winter. So we're flip that round. Yeah, I think because we got that road there, so this eventually this road will extend out this way. So we'll put you about there. Has this been built? Wow. These guys aren't messing around. Haha. Right. We're going to connect you up to there. Because ideally this would become the road that we actually come in to connect with. So what we got here is we got the this being built. We got a historic hospital there. We need a university, but where would we put it? Let's see what we've got in the way of universities. Wow, you're just way too big. I don't want to. What I want is a medical university. That's okay. We've got a medical one here. We've got, that's not very big. This is massive. I kind of think that this may not be the right place for medical university. Actually, now we've got that space. That's going to be very over the top though. How much is it going to cost me to build this? Although this is a long-term project. What we got there? Oops, sorry. This is 75. This is 90. This is 140. My instinct is to use this one, but This has got a bit of a frontage to it. If I put it that way, that will kind of reduce its profile down a little bit. So if we put you about there, research finished. Okay, that's just vaccination. Yeah, we'll put you there. That'll give a medical university. That then opens up the possibility of what we can do along here is create a row of buildings. So we're going to put in my usual collection of bits and pieces. We're going to start with over here. We're going to put in the can't get. We need to got something that might not block. See, this one doesn't block. Let me just push this back a little bit. Actually, we can come like that, but we'll give it a little bit of distance. So that's the kindergarten. We can then put in the school, private school. We'll put the private school. I'll put private school this side. Actually, we can put it up against the building like that. Maybe slightly forward to show that it's different. So we've got kindergarten. We got the cinema. Not the cinema, private school, sorry. And then in back one, put the old opera house in here, like that. We need sports now, but let me just see. We get this is going to be more for completeness than anything else. Secret police technical office. What we'll do is we'll put a sports hall in here. So what we've done now is created a whole series of utility buildings along here, which will be connected with gravel footpaths. But then as the town builds, we could build another swimming pool out here so that the town will grow outwards. We got this connected. We haven't provided sanitation at the moment. Right. We are going to go full on proper sanitation out here. So we can do that. It's going to take a long time to build this, but again, one of the key elements of when you do an early start is you've got to plan for the long game, because it does take such a long time to actually do anything. What's the contours like here? Our contours are good. We've got a rising. The question is that really where we'd want to put? Actually, don't really want to put it there, because this is meant to be a beach front, isn't it? But we got technically a beach front along here. I think we can. We just need to push it out a little bit further. So if we put the discharge right over here. Go on, Gabe, you can do it. And we'll put the treatment plant there. And we go underground, large pipe from there to there, and then we'll do the usual thing. Is we'll put in our first kind of waste catchment. We're aiming for it over there. put the first waste catchment there. And of course, the other thing we're going to do is put in a sewage switch about there. Underground. Just make sure they're all connected. You can go to the middle one again. That gets our initial sanitation in place. This area here. Right, we're now on the 22nd of November, so I want to go back and check my farms because I do have an idea. Got 2,000 tons of crops in there. Let's look up, bring in the crop overlay. We've still got some crops left in the field. I think what I can do, we'll see how much we lose for this year because the fields are nearly finished. These aren't, but what I could do is bring in, these are waste holes, but we got 3 slots here which we can use to actually, what we call it, well, we'll see what it looks like when this is finished, because we may actually get out and collect all this. We'll just have to see. Okay, let me just go over to here and see what I'm looking for. Yeah, this is all finished. It's got a tiny little bit. So this one's all wrapped up, and we've got 400 tons in there, 400 tons in there, 400 tons in there. Oh, virtually emptied all these fields. What I'm looking for is the possible nuclear option, not the nuclear option, but is to bring in this. But what's the water quality that you need for a fertilizer plant? You need 85% water quality. What I'm thinking is that if I could start making a little bit of synthetic fertilizer, because if we go to here, again, I'm just more interested in the fertility. You can see all these fields now are running at 150%. You've got 70%, you've got 150, you've got 50, you've got 150. So I think the next option is to, citizens' happiness is too low. We need to look at that. But we've got 150, so I think the next step is to actually go to synthetic fertilizer. Wait, why have we got... I don't know how you got down there because no one's supposed to move in down here, but I've got nowhere to move you to, so sorry, but you're just gonna have to live down there. Right, what is the water quality here? 92%. How much workforce do we need to produce synthetic fertilizer? 25. This is quite big. We are running water down here, aren't we? Trouble is this produces 16 tons of waste. Now I need to do my usual calculation because I can't remember it over the time. So it's what we got to do is 300 meters per cloud. Now, and of course, another thing about liquid fertilizer is that if it's running efficiently, it doesn't run all the time. So what we need is Our nearest houses are there. That's 800. I think we've got the possibility of running this into here. Yeah, the problem's going to be is workforce, because the workforce from here, they might get down to here with a little bit of encouragement. Okay, we're going to go for it and see. We put the factory just here. I mean, the alternative is that we actually bring in here. Let's look at the pipeline. That's the one that's in. So that'll bring the water in. This will take the liquid fertilizer out. So we want... Now these farms don't have pipe connections. So what's the storage for chemicals in here? It's 4.5 tons of chemicals. It burns 0.3 tons per. Like if I upgrade this. Okay, let me just remove you to there. We run asphalt plant to there. That gets you to there. I think what we may have to do is send dedicated workers to here. I think that might be a better option. Okay, so resources on construction site. Okay, we've actually got a split pipe here. I know. Oh, that's bad news. Messed that up, haven't I? One thing that annoys me with this game is that you can mess up. Yeah, this is not connected. Okay, guys, I'm just gonna go back out because this is quite critical. Okay, welcome back. The reason I backed out of that is the fact that that pipeline is not connected. If I go back to show you, this is not connected. And what that means is that what we're going to have is a problem here building this pipeline. So what I'm going to have to do is build the pipeline first and then delete a section back again. So, which is a pain in the neck, but if I'd left it the way it was, what would have happened is I would not have been able to delete that, and then the only option I would have had would have been to actually change the conditions on the game. You can see, because we don't actually have a connection there. So yeah, that's a little bit of a pain in the neck there. Right, so let's just put the chemical fertilizer back in again, or synthetic fertilizer. I think actually what we're going to do is, we've got to put a waste outfall in. Okay, that's different. Maybe that's not the right place, because we'd have to send the, I don't know, we could, because at the moment we're only supplying water to here. Let me just flip that the other way. We've got more flexibility with the Yeah, we're gonna have to deal with the waste outfall from this. And we're also gonna have to put a power supply in. I'm gonna kind of push this up into here a little bit, like that, for a reason which will become apparent. We can build a road into there. Now this pipeline is effectively crippled. How many pipe connections have I got here left? Just see, got one. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to put in another water pipeline here. Where does the other one go? We've got one that comes down to here, supply the water to the concrete plant. I mean, technically, does this actually have a sewage outfall? Let me just see. I've done a little bit of a kind of mistake here. No, but actually what I'm going to do is, I think this is getting big enough now to, yeah, this is getting a big enough supply of water. This is nice and full. Right, I've got a plan. We're going to, this needs 85% water guaranteed. This doesn't care. What we're going to do is, yeah, I think I can put this together. In fact, in some ways that actual thing in here is, we don't need a massive water facility. What's the water consumption for here? 15 cubic meters of water per day. I think we could get away with a small one here. So what we're going to do is come in here. We're going to put a, that's 12 workers, that's 10 workers. I'm actually going to put a big water processing plant in here, slightly down here. This will make sense. This, where's the water pump here? Or it's in here somewhere. There it is. This is a ground well. This is producing 91% water. What we're going to do is we're going to bring the water down to here, and then I'm actually going to supply water to this area so that we get improved efficiency, because it says that they want drinking water. And then what that can do is justify putting in a proper wastewater disposal system. So what we're going to need to do, and then that means I can sort this mess out a bit easier once the pipe work's been done. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put in a big pumping station in, because I always prefer big pumping stations. So we're going to put a large pumping station there, go underground. We're going to come off the back of there to there. Then we're going to run you underground into there. So you're going to run water out of there, and then we can put another big pump is a big pumping station. Yep. And we can put a kind of reverse run pumping station there. Put a large pipe there. Run one to there. And then come up here. Right, reverse run the water up to here. We put that the other way. Put in a pumping station, substation there. Underground again. And again, it's going to go for and run you back up to there. So what that will do is it will provide drinking water to this area, and then we can put some sanitation in, or possibly, I mean, this is big enough to do it. In fact, what we could do somehow is engineer a way to get the sanitation water underneath the river. I don't think the river's that deep. Let me just try something. I mean, haha. It says tunnel above terrain. Right, what I want is a super deep pipeline here. Okay, this will now run under the water, under there. Right, we'll put a we need a sewage switch. I think we can bake in a sewage switch here, because we're going to need one for the kind of sewage substation here. We can put you there, bake you under the river, and then requires proper slope. So what we okay, so we've now got to get up the hill. This is going to be a little bit wacky. Let's go underground. I'm not 100% convinced now that this is going to be as efficient as I was hoping for, but we'll give it a go. Put you there. You can run there. And you can run in there. Haha. That's the first time I've ever done a double actual pumping thingy. So we're just going to accept all that. Now we've got one potential problem here, in the sense that we've got this may be out of the range of a substation, so we may have to bring a substation over. And then just to finish this off, we're going to put you almost alongside the, like, can't build you to infrastructure. Can you get you there? I think you cover all the main bases, don't you? Okay. We can put you in there. So what that will mean is that we will get the advantage of productivity for the water. We will have the connection for this here, our sewage plant. So we'll get fresh water, clean, guaranteed clean water into there, clean water to there, and just want to check all the pipe connections again. Yep. There, we got fresh water there. And then what I'm going to have to do here is we're going to put what's the other, come to the we got a pipe connection out of there. And what we could do is run pipe connection out to there above ground. Right, we're going to put in a small warehouse. Going to put in, what's the smallest warehouse we've got? We've got a small barn here. Yeah, it doesn't, oh great. Oh, we can get that in. That will allow us to store chemicals like that. And then what I would like to do is we're going to put in, I want to shorten the distance to where we're going to deliver the, that will go that way. In fact, there's a power supply there. So if we, actually is there one over here? There's actually a better one over here. We're going to put a road connection there. These don't pollute, so there's a something there that's causing a problem. Right, so we've got that there. And then what we can do, because this is going to be a long-term, let me just try something. We've got to get across the river. We can get across the river. I just don't like above ground pipelines, because you never know when you are it can come there. Too long. Right. Okay, I don't really want to put a what we call it in here, so what we're going to do is remove you, come here. Can I get this back a little bit further? The power cable is there. We've got a substation there. We can always put a substation in. So if I put you about, what we can do now is we're going to put a substation in. We might as well go the whole, we can put you about there. Then go down there. That connected. That's connected. What that will mean is that we can run the store of synthetic fertilizer in here. That means that we can then put in a distribution office here, which will supply the synthetic fertilizer to there and there. I mean, truthfully, this would provide enough synthetic fertilizer for getting very tempted now. We're getting a little bit tempted, a little bit over ambitious now, because we've got this fuel tank here. This is loading and unloading. What we could do is split. Thinking if we're going to put a substation, we're going to have to put power here. Do you have power? You've got power. Let me just reconsider this. Right, we're going to break the pipeline here. And I am going to put in a pipeline here. It's going to be a little bit out on its own. The reason I'm putting a pipeline here is gravel road to there. I say this is getting in really into the realm of long-term planning, because we got a fuel pickup here. Well, because this fertilizer plant has technically the capability to provide all the actual synthetic fertilizer for a big proportion of the map. So what we could do is quite literally, what we call it is, eventually if we need it and the railway gets developed enough, if we come into here, we could actually put another fuel tanker thing in here, run the split pipeline down into here, and store synthetic fertilizer in here, which can then be shipped all the way to Warstock over here for the farm over here. So that we're now getting a little bit more of an elaborate fuel system being built up. Anyway, that is super long-term planning, and things have got a little bit out of control, which goes without saying. Let me just check the asphalt footpath. I think what I will do is go there. We will put an asphalt footpath from. There's a tiny little bit of residual there. Nope, cancel that. I don't want to stray into the... We'll build that. I think you've lost your connection to the sewage thing, but we can redo it. Not sewage, but we can get that going there, and we may be able to get something into there. Okay, I'm aware that I'm running out of time, so I just want to do a quick spot check here. We got 1,500 tons in there. We're past 17th of December. I don't think we lost any bills. Let me just come down to here. Yeah, we had some losses here. You can see the Milford on Sea. Okay, and we got 2,000 tons in here, which is pretty good. I think what I am going to do, these are really taking a very long time to build, so we've got 800,000. So what I'm going to do is workshop covered holes, total capacity. I'm going to get 1, 2, 3 in here, and what we're going to do is set up the 3 here to actually cover the fields from that point of view. Over here things are going reasonably okay. We go back over to here. Okay. Let me just check the gravel situation. Yeah, we're in real-time gravel at the moment. Okay, we're just going to check the pipeline. Yeah, this is now built, but it's not connected. So what we've got to do now, I'm just going to drop a save up. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a save as first, just in case I get this wrong, because the connection's obviously in the wrong end of the pipeline. And what we're going to have to do now is deconstruct it's a water pipeline, isn't it? to make sure we've got the whole pipeline here. Yep, it goes all the way to there. And what we can do now, we should be able to demolish this section of pipeline. It's been picked up, and that should be far enough away to redo this connection here, in theory. Yeah, these guys are quite happily laying the track up here. So this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. What I will do is play right through and to get rid of the snow. Just make sure that this demolition connection gets done properly and that I can reconnect it. Because if it doesn't work, then I'm going to have to go back to the save game and redo it. So this is something you do need to be aware of, is when you're in this situation here and you've got a tricky demolition, make sure it actually gets done properly. Anyway, so this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.